Let's talk enlightenment. I'd like to offer a kind of a fast track to enlightenment. Enlightenment is something that it's a natural process, widely misunderstood, but it does exist. It's the experience of connecting to the universal all that is, to being part of oneness with everything. It doesn't mean that you completely lose your humanity, your individuality. It doesn't mean that you completely don't have any problems anymore. It does mean that life has a basic kind of foundation of joy, because everything, no matter what it is connected to this universal divine love. And everything reminds you of that divine loving connection, which is joy. And this is something that I think would be great, is great, for people to experience for their own joy and happiness. But it's also something that the world really needs. The world really needs people who have this experience, because it makes them passionate and selfless and wise. It makes them able to guide society, to solve some of the problems that we're facing in terms of environmental issues, social issues, and personal issues. So I think it's really important that we have more of a flourishing of enlightened unity consciousness in the world. And this is something that people can experience for themselves. Excuse me, I wanted a drink of water, but there is none. That people can experience for themselves, can develop for themselves, if you focus on awareness of what's going on inside you and learning about from your own experiences. In a process of something like 10 years, you can find for yourself this awakening and this opening. But it can be very traumatic. Eckhart Tolle said that suffering is the main teacher for most people. It is their suffering that helps them to awaken, the suffering that guides them to a place beyond the suffering. And so in suffering we learn. I'd like to make it that this doesn't have to be the case. For me it certainly was. I suffered a lot in my awakening journey. I grew up doing yoga and meditation as a child. My parents were into yoga and meditation, and they had an Indian guru, and I was taught meditation when I was 4 years old. And I remember having some peaceful experiences as a very young child. And then when I became a teenager, I got into it more seriously, and I did like daily meditations. And eventually I went to this retreat, and we were singing and chanting and doing meditations all day long, one of the days. And then people were talking about these amazing experiences that they'd had of divine love and love of God and their guru. And I went, this is interesting and cool. I want to have this experience too. And somehow, as I said that, it fell on me, this experience of divine love and ecstasy. And for a while it was an amazing experience. It was an amazing experience. It is an amazing experience. But it was tough. It was too strong. It was like, love, love, love. I love you, I love everything, but I want more. I want to be closer. The feeling like unrequited love, like heartache, heartbreak. And I went into this, and nobody could guide me out of it, or nobody could tell me what was wrong. How come I was having this experience that people were saying is so wonderful, and I was really suffering through it. And in the end, I went through 10 years of this experience, constant yearning, longing, until I found my way out the other end. Eventually I realized that yearning, longing, implies I love you and you and I are two different things, are separate. It implies duality. But it's a kind of force that's pulling you together. And so if instead of focusing on the yearning and the love, I focused on allowing that pulling to happen and allow myself to be pulled together, to become one, then there is no longer any duality and there is no longer any separation and therefore no longer any yearning. And what I found is that the love transformed into joy and peace and oneness, and the I love you became we are love. And it was much happier and much more at peace. And since then, I've had a basic, happy, joyous underpinning to everything that I do in life, where before that it was much more the other way around, that I had a basic, sad, longing underpinning, or an emptiness. So this was kind of that enlightenment experience. It didn't solve all of my problems in life. I still had a lot of challenges. But facing those challenges is so much easier because I have this joyous experience. And it makes me very passionate and it makes me very altruistic, really wanting to help others and be of service and finding a joy in that service because I find a connection and I find that I am with you and we are one and we are together. And so if I'm serving you, I'm also serving myself. And there's a lot of joy in that service. And so having gone through all of that suffering, I really wanted to make a way that other people didn't have to go through it too. Which is difficult. So I then having spent this 10 years of my own spiritual quest, I went and spent another 10 years going, how do you help other people? What is it that people need? And having eventually found some answers to that, I went on another quest, how do I actually offer that to people? Because just understanding what people need is not enough to be able to actually give it to them in a form that they would like. You know, I can tell you, here's what you should do. But telling people what they should do, you know, it's not exactly what people are looking for in their life most of the time. They're looking for something much more supportive and compassionate. And so it took me a long time to find answers for how I could actually support others in this process. But in the end, it's led to this course, the Complete Awakening Journey, that is about opening up all of the different layers of your mind and moving from whatever state of consciousness you are at the moment through all of those stages of development to this experience of unity consciousness, of connecting with all that is. And in fact, beyond that, because there are levels beyond that in terms of how we bring that back into the world and how we are able to support others. So this awakening journey, I managed to put together into a system of meditation lessons and meditation practices and other techniques that you can use and work with, and also a community that you can support each other and I can support you in your journey. So this is the Complete Awakening Journey. It's an online course divided into stages. The first stage is a 12-week course, level 1, which is about inner strength. And incidentally has a lot to do with relationships, the inner strength that you learn in that process is the inner strength that creates the authenticity in relationships. So I've also linked that to another course called The Secrets of Ecstatic Relationships. And so if you join this Complete Awakening Level 1, then you get to join in the Secrets of Ecstatic Relationships as well, because it has some elements that are really complementary and can help your journey, and your inner journey can help this relationship journey as well. And then as we're going through the different stages of awakening and the different levels of consciousness, each one 3-month course, After the 3-month course, we'll see if you're ready to move on to the next one. If not, you can stick around and do that meditation for a little bit longer until you feel you're ready, and then we can move on to the next. And in the next, each one will be opening a different level of consciousness, a different part of the mind. So one of them will be the instinctive inner strength, motivation, inspiration. The next one will be about surrender, being a good person, honor, ethics. Then we get to the part of the mind that is all about thinking, understanding, wisdom. We get to creativity, insight. We get to inner peace, divine love and ecstasy, and to that unity consciousness. So over the course of something like a year and a half or a little bit more, you can move from wherever you are to that full experience of unity consciousness. And in the process, avoid a lot of the pain and suffering that most people go through in their awakening journey. So you don't need this course in order to awaken. But it may make the awakening journey a little bit faster, and it may make the awakening journey a little bit gentler, less painful. So if you're interested, sign up to this awakening journey, and I'll see you there, and I can support you in that meditation and opening that will open all of those layers of your mind into that unity consciousness. If you're not ready to join the course, check out my podcast, The Power of Oneness. Check out the YouTube channel. Check out the other resources that we have. And it may support you in your journey anyway, even if you're not ready to do this course or not particularly wanting to do this course. There's a lot of interesting resources there, and a lot of the ideas actually I've presented already in these different media, and I will be presenting them already. All of the ideas are out there. You don't need to do the course, but the course gives you a lot of support and will speed up the process a lot. So whichever way you choose to go, I look forward to working with you more and supporting you in your journey of complete awakening.